The day my training ended, I came across a viral video. A woman in her first trimester bragged about taking maternity leave until delivery, offloading work to colleagues while keeping full salary and bonuses. No pregnant woman could be luckier than me, she chirped. The comments section erupted with skepticism. Her pinned response read, "My boyfriend's a department head, fixing this was nothing for him. Even permanent staff have to cover for me as a contract worker." Instead of whining, "You trolls should wish you were born into my family." My breath caught at the familiar living room layout in the video, particularly the rainbow prism hanging by the window. This was my parents' old house, the same property my husband Kevin had rented to his hometown friend at half market rate 6 months ago. My phone buzzed with a call from Kevin. "Amy, Kevin's department is transferring Sarah immediately. You'll take over her workload. Now that training's done, report back for handover." The realization struck like ice water. This viral video wasn't random, fate was forcing my eyes open. During evening commute hours, the video spread like wildfire through crowded subways. Comments flooded in, tagging my bestie to witness this clownery. "When's the baby product sponsorship dropping? There's hundreds of department heads in Tier 1 cities, give specifics or it's fake. Should I believe her or that I'm Emperor Qin Shi Huang? Your decor looks straight from a thrift store reject pile. Remember the Arctic sturgeon scandal? This airhead might actually be real." The creator fired back, "Who says first trimester leave is impossible? I'm milking an extra month because my man treasures our son. We're born to live lavishly." I froze the video at 0:30. There it was again. My rainbow prism swaying in the window. Kevin called as nausea rose in my throat. "Amy, I'm having dinner with old classmates at our usual seafood spot. Call when you're off work, I'll pick you up." He didn't know about my sudden overtime assignment, yet already assumed I'd work late. Hours earlier, I'd pitted some poor soul doing double duty. Now I saw the joke was on me. The seafood restaurant owner always praised my good fortune in landing such a devoted husband who peeled shrimp and removed shells so tenderly. But love, it seems, can be performance art. Returning to the office, my reflection showed ghostly pallor. Sleepless nights and the image of that smug pregnant intruder in my home had hollowed me out. "Amy, you finally," the section chief holding a stack of documents trailed off upon seeing my condition, abruptly changing his question. "Why do you look so pale?" I struggled to stand, furrowing my brows with effort. I'm fine. I can keep working." "Absolutely not. That young man from the neighboring department just survived emergency surgery after working overtime until he had a heart attack. The news coverage hasn't even died down yet. Amy, go home immediately. What work can't wait until tomorrow? Should I call Kevin to pick you up?" I shook my head. "No need. I'll take a cab." The seafood restaurant where Kevin worked wasn't far. I arrived within 10 minutes. The packed dining hall led me to their private booth in the back. These were the same groomsmen I'd met at our wedding. Someone had left the door ajar after bringing dishes. "Hey, why didn't sister-in-law come today?" a voice piped up. Kevin casually answered while ladling soup for someone. "She's probably still working overtime. You want her here? Trust me, none of you would enjoy your meal if she showed up." The video caller had applied filters, but I recognized Emily's voice instantly. People never see it at first glance. After working with her, I realized she's exactly like that tyrannical math teacher from high school. Total dictator. "Emily, don't be harsh," another protested. "Remember when I blanked on my wedding speech? Amy saved me on the spot." Multiple voices agreed. Seriously, her quick thinking was impressive. Pretty, smart, perfect wife material. Emily's lips curled mockingly. So much for appearances. The Brown family princess throws tantrums over minor inconveniences. Last week she nearly bit my head off for asking follow-up questions. Right, Kevin? Kevin carefully set cooled soup before Emily before responding. Amy's, particular. High standards for herself and others. I've told her not to give our Emily a hard time. The booth fell silent for a beat before laughter erupted. True. Gentle personalities like Emily's make better wives. Why bother with careers when married to someone like Kevin? No wonder Emily's stuck to him since childhood, knew who to latch onto. Emily preened under the attention. Oh, stop. My mom always said beauty fades. Degrees collect dust. But good marriages last. You should all learn from Kevin. My heart constricted violently in those minutes, fury. Confusion. Panic. And hurt flooding beyond control. Stumbling to the restroom mirror, I confronted the exhausted, bitter stranger reflected back. In the booth, Kevin still wore his signature white button-down like the college boy I'd fallen for. 3 years my senior at Jiang University. He'd been sunlight incarnate, eyes crinkling with genuine joy, sprinting through crowds when our gazes met. Many had pursued me, wealthier suitors plentiful, but only his affection felt pure and unguarded, just like mine had been. At 3 a.m., when I craved hot pot, Kevin would immediately throw on clothes to accompany me. During sweltering summer days when I suddenly wanted to see the ocean, he'd book flights right away and walk hand in hand with me on the beach. Whenever I stared at him, his eyes would grow flustered as he'd whisper, asking if he could steal a kiss. He voluntarily shared his whereabouts and posted about me on his social media. He always apologized first during arguments, never giving me the silent treatment. When I accidentally messed things up, he focused on solving problems instead of complaining about the trouble I caused. Dating should be with someone you truly love. How could marrying anyone be the same? When our families opposed the marriage due to incompatible social backgrounds, he held my hand firmly before my parents and vowed to stand by me through thick and thin, or else face utter ruin. But now, I want to storm in and demand answers from the man I once defied the world to marry. Why? Why would he do this to me? The raucous laughter continued in the private room. I composed myself and approached the reception desk. Mrs. Johnson? Mr. Johnson's party is in the VIP suite. The manager recognized me instantly from our frequent visits. Could you print their order receipt for me? My husband's birthday is coming up. I smiled sheepishly. I want to recreate this meal at home as a surprise. The manager's face lit up with understanding. Of course. Your secret's safe with me, Mrs. Johnson. I glanced at the liquor prices listed on the receipt before tucking it carefully into my purse. During the ride home, I idly scrolled through Emily's videos. She'd been documenting her life for 6 months now, the same period when Kevin had seemingly devoted more attention to me than ever. That Ivy League education really paid off. Even his affair required masterful time management. Her earlier clips showed genuine vulnerability. Contract workers earn so little here in Hangzhou. She pouted in one video, red-rimmed eyes blinking. Kevin told me she'd exhausted herself escaping the Davis family's male-dominated toxicity. The turning point came when Emily messed with a colleague's laptop before Kevin's important speech. I apologized for spilling water on it. She sniffed to the camera, lips trembling, but she left her cup too full near the computer anyway. The footage cut to drunken giggles as she reminisced about childhood escapades and stolen kisses with Kevin. I remember that day clearly, Emily's hysterical sobs echoing through the office as typhoon winds rattled the windows. When I texted Kevin about riding home together that stormy evening, he replied 30 minutes later, emergency at work. Can't leave. Outside, black trash bags danced like wraiths in the gale as I trudged through the tempest, each thunderclap mirroring the chaos in my chest. By the time I snapped back to reality, torrential rain was pounding outside. I tried calling Kevin. No answer. Called again. Got sent straight to voicemail. That night, I caught a ride home with a coworker. She kept giving me this look like she wanted to say something but couldn't find the words. Right before I got out of the car, she finally blurted, "He's all concerned about his employees but completely ignores his own wife? What kind of bullshit is that?" The storm drowned out my chance to ask what she meant by concerned. Turns out Kevin had left work early that day to comfort Emily after their fight. Not that I knew. The rest of the videos were just more proof of the affair, Kevin cooking for her, saving the best part of the strawberry for Emily, him taking her to temples, slipping prayer beads around her wrist, footage of them exploring every damn street in Hangzhou, stuffing their faces at every food stall. Then the money shots, intertwined fingers, back hug selfies, Kevin's belt abandoned on Emily's couch, and her positive pregnancy test. I barely made it to the bathroom before vomiting. Tears streamed down my face as I clutched the sink. Was any of this real? If these videos were true, did our 12 years together mean nothing? I thought we'd grow old together. Turns out forever had an expiration date. Midnight came and went with no sign of Kevin. Apparently forgetting your wife at work doesn't even warrant a text. Before bed, I uploaded all the screen recordings to cloud storage. Not a smoking gun, but enough to draw blood. Next morning, Kevin was flipping pancakes like some sitcom husband. Your favorite pork buns and noodles. Amy! Oh. And I heated milk, can't have just carbs for breakfast. He rushed over in that stupid apron, trying to steer me to the table. Why didn't you answer? My voice stayed flat. You could have at least told me instead of leaving me waiting like an idiot. His eyes darted away. I'm sorry. Okay? The guys wanted to celebrate and I guess I got carried away. Work's been hell. You know that. It won't happen again. Again? The word tasted bitter. 5 ignored calls. Radio silence all night. I grabbed plain toast from the fridge and left as my phone blew up with apologies. Emily's latest TikTok stopped me cold. Best breakfast ever from my favorite person. #blessed #mamatobi. There were my pork buns, my noodles, and a steaming bowl of chicken soup I never got. I forced a smile and texted Kevin back. During lunch break that day, I returned to the old house where Emily currently lived. My childhood best friend Sarah insisted on coming along. When you married that jerk against your family's wishes, they still pulled strings to rescue you from that mess, she said offhandedly, glancing at me. When you're with the right person, a slight cough makes them think you've caught cold. With the wrong one, they'd mistake your hanging body for a playground swing. Kevin doesn't love you at all. She was right. These past 2 weeks of mandatory overtime, conveniently assigned by Kevin, had left me exhausted. Yet he'd shown zero concern. The old Kevin would have shouldered my workload without hesitation. Nodding quietly, I turned at the sound of approaching footsteps. Emily froze upon recognizing me. After a flicker of panic, she deliberately cradled her flat stomach. Amy? What brings you here? Her saccharine smile didn't reach her eyes. Emily. Was it? I feigned sudden recollection. I believe Kevin mentioned renting this place to you 6 months back. Her lips curved without warmth. Seems you've forgotten me. Amy. Care to come upstairs? Sure. I shrugged. Haven't been back in ages. Let me know if any furniture needs replacing. Walking through the home I'd lived in for 13 years, nearly our marital nest memories flooded back. Kevin had emptied his savings to buy our current house, insisting I deserved better than this cramped space. During those lean years, he'd meticulously split his paycheck between our joint account and my personal allowance. That version of Kevin had been good. Emily's voice shattered my reverie. No need for replacements. My boyfriend Kevin upgraded everything when I got pregnant. She emphasized his name. He must have told you? I blinked innocently. Oh. Do whatever makes you comfortable. Honestly, my parents offered this as our starter home. But Kevin refused to settle for me. Blew his entire savings on our house, wouldn't even let me opt out of the deed. I trailed off, watching her complexion darken. Suddenly she thrust her non-existent bump forward. Heard you've been married years without kids. Amy? My promotion's imminent. I smiled sweetly. Once I make deputy director, we'll start trying. Good husband. Thriving career. Perfect kids why choose? That's why we kept this place. Prime school district. You know. Her lip trembled before she spun toward the kitchen. I'll get drinks. As she left, Sarah gasped dramatically at the window. That rainbow projector's still here? Kevin barely scraped by as a student when he blew his allowance on this for you. Fingers brushing the dusty device. I murmured. All because I mentioned liking rainbows once. The memory stung that boy would have moved mountains. The man he became couldn't even see me drowning. Amy knew Kevin's stipend and part-time job barely covered his daily expenses. Sarah rolled her eyes at me and raised her voice seriously. Amy, if you got pregnant, Kevin would literally give you his life savings. He'd set up that full-service postnatal care suite with live-in nannies before the test strip dried. She gulped her water dramatically. That Emily really hit the jackpot. I smiled faintly. When someone loves you, they naturally want to give you the best. Emily paled instantly. Just as predicted. Our tag teaming had her cornered perfectly. Sarah's psychology credentials and my bureaucratic finesse even when the department head asks why I drink coffee. I'll spout nonsense about appreciating life's bitterness before sweetness. How could we possibly lose to her? But I wanted more than petty revenge. Kevin stood glowering at the office entrance when I returned. I waved casually as if nothing happened. Need something? Why did you confront Emily? His voice crackled with tension. If you have work complaints, address me directly. I approved her leave and transferred Xiaohu. I know you're overworked. But even I make accommodations for female staff. Must you be this cruel? I've told you repeatedly about her difficult circumstances. Must you flaunt your privilege? She's pregnant and emotionally fragile now. Don't you feel any shame as a woman? His tirade stunned me. Security guards turned to stare. This red-faced stranger with contempt dripping from his eyes. Had I ever truly known this man? I steadied my breathing. Kevin. My comfortable life comes from my parents' support and my own efforts. If I fail, that's on me too. What does that have to do with others? He sneered. So you admit harassing Emily today? Why would I? My voice trembled as tears welled up. Sarah's tenant moved out. I just helped her inspect the apartment. I texted you yesterday asking for a ride. You never replied. Emily invited me herself when we bumped into each other. She shared her pregnancy news. So I bought her fruits and advised against junk food. Why assume the worst? You just accompanied Sarah? Kevin's neck flushed mottled red. I defiantly wiped my tears. I tried declining, but she insisted. Ask her yourself. But Kevin, why strip our department? Other teams have dozen staffers. With maternity and sick leaves. It's just me and Xiaohu now. Is this Emily's grievance, or yours? His face spasmed like I'd stomped on his tail. Amy! You're my wife, of course I care. This is HR's decision. HR's director plays golf with you weekly. He tugged at the hideous tie I'd never choose. Coughing awkwardly. Emily called crying earlier. I overreacted. I'll clarify things. Sweetheart. She's fighting tooth and nail to escape her toxic family. Can't we show some compassion? I lowered my gaze. Smiling coldly. Whether Emily fought hard to escape her family remained unclear. But Kevin certainly fought hard to protect her. Silently, I entered the elevator. He trailed behind. Voice cracking, I'm sorry. Amy. I was wrong. That evening we left work together. Something we hadn't done in ages. I nodded, suppressing my disgust. Emily had been waiting at home for hours. Convinced Kevin would rush to comfort her after work. She'd sobbed pitifully during their phone call earlier, claiming Amy had terrified her. What she didn't anticipate was Kevin viewing the situation differently. Amy didn't know Emily's identity. So why would she harass her? Worse still, Emily never imagined Kevin had started suspecting her motives. Emily desperately wanted official recognition, itching for him to finalize his divorce immediately. But with Kevin's current career ascension phase, Exposing marital turmoil now would be professional suicide. Besides, Amy's family connections in Hangzhou offered far greater advantages than Emily's provincial background. When Kevin kept refusing divorce proceedings, Emily resorted to flaunting their relationship before Amy, the most logical explanation for today's drama. Whether to compensate Amy or teach Emily a lesson, Kevin wouldn't be visiting Emily's apartment anytime soon. Frustrated, Emily opened her phone to find a DM from a stranger girl. "I notice you keep saying partner not husband. Wild guess unwed pregnancy? Been there. If he truly loved you, he wouldn't keep you in this crumbling apartment. Rich men spend on what they value." No ring means empty promises. Either he's got better options or never planned to commit. My ex promised marriage after our baby came, ended up exiled with my child. Make him marry you before delivery. She didn't reply but stared at the ceiling all night. Meanwhile, Kevin prepared 5 dishes including my favorite crab sticky rice cakes. "You've been working so hard lately," he said. The model husband reborn. "Once Sarah returns from leave, I'll transfer that intern back. Eat more, darling. Impress the higher-ups during this busy period." I forced down the greasy cakes and fishy crab, smiling obediently. Our renewed routine continued: shared breakfasts, punctual homecomings. But his phone absorbed increasing attention, his frown deepening. Emily's patience was crumbling. Then came the night he stumbled home at 2:17 a.m. reeking of sweat and jasmine perfume. I lay motionless, clinging to the certainty that this soul-corroding marriage's expiration date approached. Sarah's promised 1-month leave stretched into 6 weeks. My workload ballooned while our department head fruitlessly petitioned HR for reinforcements. Frequent fevers became my new normal. Meanwhile, Kevin's visits to Emily resumed, evident from her social media updates. On her birthday, he vanished before noon. Of course he'd throw Emily an extravagant celebration, complete with her relocated family and their mutual friends. Checking my watch, I boarded the hospital-bound bus. After receiving the prenatal test results, I texted Kevin, "I'm pregnant," at the provincial maternity hospital. His call came through the next second. I declined. He called again, rejected. Persistent ringing earned him a block. Half an hour later, Kevin burst into the hospital like a madman. Emily trailed behind, lingering by the doorway to observe the commotion. I sobbed into Kevin's chest, letting him carry me out past Emily's watchful gaze. Before we drove off, I glimpsed her collapsing onto the sidewalk. For 2 weeks, Kevin burned all his vacation days to stay with me. Our baby, the one anchoring our relationship, the legitimate heir to the Johnson name, couldn't be saved. Last month's endless overtime shifts until midnight, the lingering flu treated with daily medications, the department workload I dared not pause, it all crashed down. "Can't we keep it?" I begged through tears. "We'll find the best specialists." Kevin's grief seemed genuine. Unlike Emily's pregnancy, this loss truly mattered. He held me, red-eyed, murmuring, "The medications caused irreversible damage. We can't gamble with your health. Amy." His voice broke. "Let's not tell our parents. No need to burden them." I shut my eyes coldly. Afraid of their grief, or their questions about why I couldn't take medical leave? The procedure happened the next day. During my recovery, Kevin barely glanced at his phone. Emily returned to work, her constant blunders flooding the office chat. Colleagues began openly criticizing her, whether from exhaustion or silent blame for our lost child. Kevin stopped defending her. "He'll never know the truth, I chose this. No child deserves a cheating father and a resentful mother." 2 days before Kevin's return to work, Emily's TikTok resurfaced, tear-stained birthday cake photos captioned, "On my birthday, do you wish for our marriage, or your wife's health?" Comments exploded, homewrecker going pro. Drop the cheater's name. Brave mistress self-destructing, new content unlocked. Sarah, Emily's life coach, Reappeared, I warned you about forcing marriage talks. He's abandoning you before the baby even arrives. Please. Emily begged in replies. Tell me how to fix this. Sarah copied my words line by line. Now you need to direct public pressure toward him. First force him to divorce. Then use the baby in your belly to make him marry you. You still have the child as leverage, what are you afraid of? His wife should be the scared one. If he still rejects you, that means he's been lying all along. Can you watch them play happy family? What does that make you? I was still half asleep when Emily started unfurling protest banners at our workplace. My phone began vibrating incessantly. Messages flooded in, colleagues offering awkward condolences alongside photos and videos of Emily distributing flyers with her parents outside the office building. My department head messaged first Amy. Are you okay? Let me know if you need anything. Upper management's aware of the situation and taking it seriously. Take some time off, don't worry about work. Making his own wife miscarry from overwork? I'm reporting this. What kind of monster does that? The private slacking off chat had transformed into a war zone. Never thought Kevin was such trash. Always sensed something off about those two, garbage belongs together. Amy, don't cry. File for divorce now. My brother's the best lawyer in town, guaranteed win. Repeat after me, men ain't shit even when 6 feet under. Hold strong. Amy! I watched Kevin bustling in the kitchen. Apron strings fluttering. Couldn't help feeling a twinge of regret. Putting morals aside, the man had looks, elite education, and raw talent. He climbed from nothing through sheer competence, choosing the right political alliances during leadership transitions to become our youngest department head. Maybe power corrupts. Or perhaps success simply reveals true nature. Placing Emily's evidence before him felt like laying out autopsy tools, videos of their dates. Ultrasound photos. Audio recordings of them scheming to divert my child's inheritance. Amy. Let me explain. I cut through his stammering. Explain what? That the videos are deepfakes? That Emily's pregnancy is fake? That plotting to steal my family assets is some elaborate joke? My voice cracked. So Kevin. Answer me properly, why transfer Xiaohu? Why did Emily's absences become my punishment? Why sacrifice our baby for theirs? He stared at his vibrating phone, 5 missed calls from his patron in upper management. The scandal had clearly detonated. Other departments would have protested the staffing changes, caused unnecessary conflict, he sounded dazed. But you, I knew you could handle it. Amy. His eyes glistened with performative remorse. I've ended things with her. I'll make her terminate the pregnancy tonight. She'll disappear to her hometown, we can start over. Our future children can register under your parents' address. Attend top-tier schools. Divorce papers. I stated coldly. Unless you want this circus to escalate. The day our divorce finalized, Kevin received his demotion notice. Emily got fired for multiple policy violations. As I walked out of City Hall, autumn leaves crunched underfoot, the same sound our ambitions made when shattered. He stared blankly at the divorce papers in his hands before suddenly looking up at me. Amy. I won't give up on you. I'll win you back until you agree to remarry me. There's always a second chance in life. His declaration rang hollow as I tuned him out, preoccupied with sending the phone recording to Emily immediately. As fellow women, my heart ached for her situation. Not only had he abandoned her, but he'd even disowned their child. True to form, Emily reappeared that afternoon waving protest signs at our workplace entrance, this time denouncing management's unfair disciplinary decisions regarding Kevin's misconduct. Kevin dragged her into a corner for heated confrontation, but the embittered woman retaliated by live streaming the entire ordeal. What should have remained internal workplace gossip suddenly became public spectacle. Management convened emergency meetings, ultimately deciding Kevin's transfer from Hangzhou to Guiqing. On his departure day, my supervisor shared unexpected news due to HR's negligence in staff vetting and leave procedures that contributed to my trauma. coupled with my gracious restraint in preserving organizational reputation. I'd become top candidate for promotion this year. I silently reviewed the internal memo. Had I merely wanted divorce with minor professional consequences for Kevin? Exposing Emily's initial video would have sufficed. But standard regulations only permit termination for proven adultery causing severe repercussions. My calculated patience in provoking Emily's escalating antics still only yielded temporary setbacks for him. 3 months later, workplace chatter revealed Kevin struggling financially and gouging after pay reduction, compounded by mortgage payments and parental support obligations since I'd claimed liquid assets in our settlement. Emily, now visibly pregnant, returned with police-escorted protests demanding his reinstatement, threatening lawsuits and petitions. Fate works in curious ways. Accessing cloud-stored screen recordings Emily had deleted, including her online boasts about work negligence and connections with supervisory protection, I strategically released documentation of Kevin's prohibited luxury alcohol purchases during Hangzhou's strict dining ban. The viral backlash intensified by Emily's farcical triple protest spectacle finally reached executive leadership. Kevin received termination notice precisely as I delivered my annual report and outlined upcoming departmental initiatives. In subsequent years, Kevin cycled through small companies in his hometown, his arrogant management style sparking employee revolts until he resorted to operating illicit tutoring centers. Emily remained unmarried, residing with their child in his family home where constant arguments erupted between her and his resentful mother. Often found motionless on the doorstep, Kevin would blankly stare ahead, this hollow existence a far cry from the life he'd envisioned. He should have been sitting in a bright office with a promising future within reach, a loving, sensible wife and well-behaved children. Kevin turned to look at the chaos in the yard, clutching his head. How had he sunk to this state? Probably because he'd made the same mistake many men do. 6 months later, I successfully took Kevin's position, becoming the youngest department head in our organization. Luck and capability were equally essential. I still remember his friend once said women like me should just stay as trophy wives. Now I'd love to tell him women like me aren't just fit for being wives, we're great at competing with men for opportunities too. I've never needed to cling to anyone. The light on life's journey won't dim as long as you fuel it yourself. One weekend, Sarah and I sat in a cave for afternoon tea. So perfect victims really exist, she remarked. With all those viral videos back then, not a single strand of your hair showed. I sipped my coffee, smiling. Making public scenes online seems undignified. Besides, the internet never forgets. I don't want people associating me with that cheating scandal forever. Always you. Sarah clicked her tongue. With my temper, I'd have live-streamed everything by planting cameras in that apartment. I set down my cup solemnly. Installing surveillance in tenants' rooms is illegal. My path upward needs to stay spotless. Why stain it for trash like them? Later, fragments about Kevin drifted past like wind, no longer worth pondering. No emotion proved insurmountable. Nothing would ever disrupt my choices in life's crossroads, staying true to myself. Relentless day and night.